everybody, welcome to a new series on my channel. Over 3 videos I'll be discussing in great detail for you Saturn's transit to your moon called Gochara, and this transit is going to give you the most amazing insights into the rise and fall of your fortune. But I'm going to start in this video with the most amazing, best kept secret. It's not so much a secret, but it's just not fully understood. There are 7.5 years when Saturn gives you the most permanent, amazing, and important good fortunes without which your life would really have little meaning. So people understand about Sade Sati in Vedic astrology, and everybody is most afraid of Saturn's 7.5 year transit around the moon from the 12th, 1st and 2nd house to the moon. And there are other Saturn transits also that impel people to become fearful. I hope in this series to allay some of those fears. But first of all, let me start with the great good news. Saturn is the only planet who can give you those permanent good fortunes in life. And on this video, I'm going to talk about how he does that and in what houses he transits. If you are new to my channel, sub below and let's start. Why is Saturn so important by transit? Saturn is the most essential transit in Vedic astrology, and we seem to intuitively know this, but it impels us to fear, which it should not. Saturn Gochara, though, Saturn transit to the moon rather than ascendant, is very important. I'm going to be talking about why in a minute. But first of all, of course, how long does Saturn take to go around your chart? Saturn, wherever he is by birth, and here I've got Saturn in the 1st house, takes 30 years to go through every sign and about 2.5 in each sign until he gets to 30 years later where he was when you were born. This is called the Saturn return, and I'll be also doing a new video on that in this series. A very important thing to understand Saturn's return. But what about Saturn Gochara? So why transit to the moon then is so important? Why do the ancient sages make such a big deal of transit to your moon of every planet and not just Saturn? In the Vedic system, there are special house placements from the moon that are so accurate in predicting fortune. And it is just an amazing system. It's been completely lost over thousands of years to the Western astrology system. Instead, they have the aspects of the planets, but it's so general there is even no differentiation. So this system is a great secret, and we should be glad that we have this secret. Basically, the moon is your desire, my desire, everybody's desire. We have all taken birth in this material realm, all the living beings, because of our desire. The moon in your chart represents your desire to exist in this material realm, those unfulfilled desires. It could be all sorts of desires. There could be desires which are not very auspicious, or those that are auspicious according to your karmas. But how they will be fulfilled or not fulfilled depends on Saturn specifically, because Saturn holds your personal karma. So this is why Saturn's aspect to your moon by house are so important in the fulfillment of your destiny on this planet. So Saturn's job is therefore to give us the concrete circumstances in our life which are the fulfillment of our desire, as well as giving us what he has to do, the payback for our past karmas in trial and tribulation. It's not Saturn, it's our karma, it's our deeds. Nothing can happen to any one of us or any living being really without there being a cause, a past cause. So basically, Saturn, yes, it's going to be trial and tribulation according to your birth chart, more or less in certain houses. I'll be talking about it in a minute. But the good news, everybody, is that those things that when you look back in your life when you're much older and you think, yeah, that job, that relationship, that friendship, that circumstance, that opening, that opportunity, my whole life would have been not what it is for good. The concrete lasting things, they can only be brought to you by Lord Shani. I'm going to show you in a minute how he does that, when he does that, and what houses that will occur in. So please remember that Saturn is the only one who can bring you the concrete, lasting, good stuff in your life, and that's the basis of it. There is a misunderstanding that Jupiter is going to bring you opportunity, bring you good stuff. Jupiter does bring opportunity, that's for sure, and can de-stress your life by making you more relaxed and opening doors to you. But Jupiter is not empowered to bring you material things. This is a misunderstanding. Again, I'm not going down on the Western system here, having spent a long time in it. But let me tell you, there is a misunderstanding in the Western system. They see Jupiter as some sort of big Santa Claus figure. Jupiter is sattvic. He's pure. He's a guru. He has knowledge. Jupiter's purpose is to take us out of this world, to get us free and set us free into the spiritual realm. That's our supreme good, not to stay here suffering, okay? So Jupiter doesn't want to take you to a party and get you drunk and give you all these good times. If you want that, I suppose that might be Venus in some respects giving you that, but it won't be Jupiter. So Jupiter doesn't give you those things in your life which particularly always last. He will open doors, he will give opportunity, but if you take the opportunity, if it comes to anything at all, depends on one graha only. It depends on Saturn. So let's now explore Saturn's Gochara. Saturn's Gochara can be divided into different systems of transit. The first are the most difficult. When Saturn is in the 12th house from your moon, first house from your moon, and second house from your moon, known as Sade Sati for 7.5 years, it's a time of intense responsibility and sometimes tribulation. Saturn in the 4th house from your moon, Saturn Daya, is also quite testing. And Saturn in the 8th house, known as Astam Shani, also can be a troublesome period. Altogether, 12.5 years. But in addition to those times, Saturn's transit in the 5th house from your moon, 7th, 9th house and 10th house are also times when Saturn gives frustration and difficulty. So altogether, this adds up to quite a long period of difficulty. In fact, it adds up to 22.5 years. Let's have a look at it. Sade Sati for 7.5 years. Saturn Daya, 4th and 8th for 5 years. Saturn in the 5th, 7th, 9th and 10th house, 10 years. 22.5 years when Saturn is going to have to bring us back the karmas for which we have to pay and burn in this life. But for that trouble, he is going to give us the best reward. And that best reward, everybody, with a permanent lasting good fortune will come to each one of us, will be when Saturn is in the 3rd house from your moon, the 6th house from your moon, and the 11th house from your moon. The 7.5 years of amazing fortune. Let's explore. So Saturn transits the 3rd house from your moon. It's exactly after Sade Sati. It's almost as though you have landed on your feet. This is one of the most concrete times in your life when you feel that a weight has been taken off your shoulder. You've landed, but you're on your feet. You're walking forward, you're sure of yourself, and the world is supporting you, is the general feeling of Saturn in the 3rd. Don't forget, by the way, just to want to have a little aside here, check your Mahadashas when you have these transits. That can make it a little less fortunate, but it's still going to be good if you have a very troublesome Mahadasha and Bhukti, by the way. But you know, Saturn after Sade Sati is going to give you reward for all the hard work, because often you have to work terribly hard in Sade Sati, and you do work hard. You put your nose to that grindstone, and it's frustrating and it's hard going, but the rewards come when Saturn gets out of Sade Sati into your 3rd from the moon. Saturn is going to open doors that give permanent good fortune. Saturn's aspects are important, though, to understanding how fortunate this 3rd house is. Now, I can't specifically give you those exact situations because it will depend on the sign involved, you see. So the sign of your moon, the sign of planets in your 3rd house, the aspects to the 3rd house, your ascendant in a way which has put your moon in a certain house. Everything comes together, but you don't need to worry about any of that, everybody. You just need to know Saturn's in the 3rd house. Doors will open to you now. Opportunities will be there that you never imagined, and it'll be so smooth. You won't have to lift a little finger to get anything. It will just be given to you. Saturn will give you that job, give you that relationship, give you the opportunity, take away the stress that was a barrier before. A very good example in our present time is, of course, Boris Johnson. Check out the chart on my channel. But, Boris Johnson came to power as our Prime Minister in the UK with Saturn in the third house from his moon. His moon is in Libra. And he had a trial and tribulation there. There were some other factors in his Mahadasha which gave him that. He was in Mercury K2, so it's very frustrating. But ultimately, eclipses turned it all around for him. But it was Saturn that gave him that success. It was only Saturn in the third house that enabled him to win that huge majority. It was only Saturn that brought him into power so easily and smoothly. Okay, so Saturn is the ultimate giver of success in the third house. Make the most of it during this time, everybody, because Saturn goes into Saturn Dia when Saturn goes into the fourth house, and you're going to have some uppity times then. But it won't destabilize, it shouldn't destabilize what has come into your life in the third house transit. It shouldn't, okay, because it tends to be something permanent for good in your life. There are some aspects though. Saturn is third aspect on your fifth house. There will be issues with children during this time that you have to deal with. A challenging time with children, and sometimes in education can be found a little bit, but still it will work out for you good. Any changes which you have to make in regard to children and in regard to education. Foreign travel, very important to you. Foreign lands, all aspects of dealing with foreign situations, of dealing with gurus, of dealing with spiritual belief. You will come to a definite system of satisfaction with those. Again, the 10th aspect on your 12th house will definitely take you into foreign lands for many people. I've seen people move in this third house, Saturn, from the moon to a new house. More than anything, I've seen major moves happening, major, relocation. If it's not a relocation, by the way, it can just be that you absolutely transform your home. You make a big change in your home and family environment. It's very smooth for you though. It just works out very, very well indeed. So it's a marvelous period of relief, but it's more than just a relief that Sade Sati is over. You've got a new beginning now. You've got a new chance to be who you are in the world. Saturn in the third also increases your skill base, everybody. So you gain new skills. Again, I've seen many instances of people who gain new skills that they didn't even know they had. Again, by the sign, you'll see how that will be. It could be artistic skills. It could be any sort of skill at all. But that will absolutely depend on the signs involved. But it's about opportunity to increase your life in a purposeful way. Whatever you do now, whatever skill base you start, it will lead you to amazing good fortune. So you're not wasting your time on anything in this third house. Doors will open smoothly. All the opportunities, all the jobs will be there, and you will have no choice but to take them. It won't be like you will make a mistake and miss any opportunity. That should not happen. It's all round beneficial. Now, when Saturn goes into the sixth house from your moon, this is quite an interesting and again beneficial transit for you. You've just been through about 5 years of difficulty with Saturn in the fourth and in the fifth house. You've more than likely had conflict in relationships sometimes. This is what you see more than anything else in the fourth and fifth. Saturn in the sixth is going to stop that. It's going to create harmony by making amends. So you're going to be able to control the enemies of your relationship, the enemies in your workplace, the enemies anywhere. People who mightn't be outwardly, have enmity to you, mightn't seem to, but are blocking your path. So nobody can block your path when Saturn is strong in the sixth house from the moon. Nor can any disease or illness cause you too much trouble. That shouldn't happen. Saturn here, opposite to this house of hospitals and isolation, should really destroy the expenses and the isolation. It's a time when you get things done in your life. It's very good for relationships. If there have been conflicts, as I say, they can be sorted. If it is due to other aspects like your Mahadasha and various other factors, a difficult time in your relationship and there is separation, it will go smoothly. It will be in your favor. It will absolutely work out perfectly, that you feel settled and secure. Saturn in this house also aspects the eighth house. This is good. You want Saturn to destroy your eighth house because the eighth house contains those sudden events and those unexpected events which startle you and change your life in a not always happy way. Saturn destroys all of those unexpected factors and brings you stability and steadiness. It's a very fortunate thing. Saturn's 10th aspect on the third house again steadies your skill base. So your job situation normally goes very well. There may be a few sibling issues for some people, but they're generally sorted out. Saturn is really strong in these houses like the third, sixth, and eighth house, and even sometimes, but not always the 12th, but third, sixth, and eighth. Saturn contains this form of disruption that these houses bring. So it steadies your life enormously. It's not always a calm period, but it's a period when you feel in control. It gives you a feeling of control. An interesting thing I've often seen is, apart from the foreign lands again and travel aspect from the 12th house aspect, Saturn often brings pets into your life, very special karmic links with small animals because Saturn is in the 6th house. So it's a steady time. And if you are looking for a job, looking to find opportunity to go up that ladder in your job, you do very well. Superiors believe in you, colleagues cooperate with you. It's very good for your working life. So it's good for health, it's good for your working life, it's good for foreign travel, it's good for destroying opposition and any particular lawsuits or anything outstanding which is conflict is always resolved in your favor. So when Saturn is in the 11th house from your moon, this is a culmination of karmas. Remember, Saturn is just one house away from starting Sade Sati. This is the 2.5 years before Sade Sati begins. It's most auspicious. I mean, they are all auspicious. They all bring you the bounties of life that stay with you for a long, long, long time and give you pleasure, give you a sense of security. But Saturn in the 11th for most people is very special. For some signs, it's extra special, like Pisces moon. It's in Capricorn. For Aries moon, it's in the multicone sign of Aquarius. And for Sagittarius moon, it's exalted in Libra. So for certain signs, you get that special karma coming in. But for everybody, the 11th house is so beneficial because it is the house of desire. And don't forget, I've been talking about the moon as your desire, right? So now Saturn is in the fulfillment of your desire house. What are you desiring? A new relationship, you can get it now. A new house, you can get it now. A new job, you can get it. Whatever it is you want to have, Saturn is empowered to bring. Saturn's 5th aspect, it brings back your good karmas to you. People from your past life come into your life. Soulmate relationships very often occur, or soulmate friendships also. Saturn is destroying the 8th house of sudden events and disruption. So you get these things smoothly and they work out well. Now, what about Saturn's aspect to the 1st house? That's going to make you serious now. It's absolutely preparing you for Sade Sati, guys. That's why it's aspecting your 1st house, your moon sign itself. Saturn is preparing you to get your mind set for seriousness. So Saturn in the 11th house brings good relationships, good support, either a special person, a special maybe job situation, a special house, something which is long lasting and good for you, which sees you through Sade Sati. I've seen this many times. You get the support you need, you get that. You have your desires fulfilled. As I say, I can't describe all the desires which you may have in this video. You know what they are. Saturn's 11 from your moon. At that particular Saturn transit, it might be completely different 30 years later. Don't forget. So Saturn's going to fulfill your desires, going to give you support, going to make you serious about your life. It's going to give you a direction. I find that Saturn in the 11th house gives you a new direction. And that direction is all about when, or rather what, you will have to do when Sade Sati arrives. So it's preparing you for Sade Sati, but it's not preparing you and just throwing you into Sade Sati with no support. This is when Saturn gives you whatever you need to see you through Sade Sati according to your karma. So it's a great time of having your desires fulfilled in a meaningful and lasting way. It's a very, very special time. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video and found it informative. If you did, sub to my channel. Coming up soon, more videos on Vedic astrology and specifically on Saturn transit. Goodbye and God bless everybody.